Mike McCool here in the Royal Examiner Studio, and with me today is our Fire Marshal, Gerry Maiatico. So it's good to see you again. It's time change, and every time there's a time change, Gerry comes in and wants to remind us to change our batteries. So
that's right, Mike.
That's the time of the year, you know.
Can you believe it? It seems like it snuck up on us pretty quick.
I know it. So. It is. I think they change it. It floats around a little bit. But
that's right.
It is great. I mean, fall is here. Winter coming soon. And I just put some new smoke detectors. I have to admit, they were 20 years old. And I was shocked that it's been 20 years. So I went ahead and changed them. They still work when I hit the test button.
That's right.
But I was reading up on it. And tell me about the life of these things.
So, you know, as you alluded to, every time we get to the time change, you know, we used to say, change your clock, you change your battery. Well, that's changed a little bit over time. So the basics of a smoke alarm is, you're absolutely right. There's an expiration date on a smoke alarm.
Right.
The manufacturer recommends that smoke alarm be changed out every 8 to 10 years, depending on the manufacturer. So we ultimately say every 10 years you need to replace the smoke alarms in your home. The scenario we give is, you wouldn't trust a gallon of milk that's expired in your refrigerator.
Exactly.
Don't trust a smoke alarm that's been expired
My wife
as well.
throws those things away before they expire.
So every smoke alarm in your home will have a date listed in that smoke alarm.
Okay.
So you could take that smoke alarm down off the ceiling and you could take a look at it, and it will give you a manufacturer date. So for example, this one's January 24th, 2019. So ultimately, go 10 years out from that date, and if it's over that 10-year time frame, we tell you to replace it.
Right. Well, that's just a good example. Now, that's a brand new one, and yet it's already a year old.
That's right.
And so when you're buying these things, you don't know when they were manufactured, and you know these things are ordered years in advance. So it could be 1 or 2 years old by the time you buy it.
Yeah, absolutely. So the other thing that you alluded to is that it still worked. That's a big misnomer. People say, well, I changed the battery, or I test it once a month like you say, but it still works. It very well may still alarm, but what happens is the detection technology inside of this smoke alarm starts to deteriorate, right? So just like your gallon of milk, as you get closer to that date, while it's still good, it's still a glass of milk, ultimately, that magic date is the date that you just don't want to trust it anymore.
Right. They use a little radioactive. Must be the half-life of the isotope.
That's right. That's right.
Well, so, if you believe in science, there you go.
So as we talk about, you know, this is an opportune time. This is a great time, a good reminder to at least test your smoke alarm. Okay? As society, as we grow busier, we tell you that you need to test your smoke alarm at least once a month. Well, this is just that opportune time to take that smoke alarm, take a few minutes, take that smoke alarm down off the ceiling, look at the date on the smoke alarm, press the test button, make sure it's going to activate if it's within that 10-year period. Then also, too, take a vacuum cleaner, take the hose off the vacuum cleaner, and just run around that smoke alarm. Get the dust particles, get those types of things out of that smoke alarm, just to extend the life of that alarm.
I noticed that if you look at it and it's all turned yellow, it's time to get rid of it.
And that's a good indication. That's a good indication.
You know, we talked about changing out batteries, but when I was looking to replace my smoke detector, they had this thing, 10-year lithium battery guarantee on it. So talk about those. I see you brought one.
So that's why we've kind of changed it from change your clock to change your battery to now it's change your clock, check your alarm. Okay? Check the date. Make sure it functions. Then also, too, the reason we change that is because not all smoke alarms need a battery change. So the smoke alarms that we provide as part of our fire and smoke alarm program through the Department of Fire and Rescue Services, we provide 10-year tamper-proof ionization smoke alarms, right? So inside of here there's no what we would know as a 9-volt battery. Right. This has a battery pack that is part of the smoke alarm that when you turn and you engage this smoke alarm, it activates that battery in there. There's no way to change that battery pack out. If the battery goes bad in this smoke alarm, you have to replace it. Under normal use, you will never need to change the battery in this smoke alarm.
Right. Now, I was reading some reviews where people had bought these and they had said, well, it only lasted 3 years or 3 months. That goes back to checking the thing. just because it's a 10-year battery, it may not, as we well know, our phones and everything else, we have these great batteries, and some work perfectly for a lot of years, and other ones, they don't. So I think, don't have a false sense of security.
And that's under normal use, under normal conditions. So basically, the right temperatures in the home, the right moisture conditions in the home. Is there a smoker in the home?
That makes a difference.
So under normal conditions, we see these smoke alarms last up until that 10-year mark. Then we've seen and we've received calls, my smoke alarms go bad in that 3-year time frame.
Exactly.
So ultimately, a lot of people, it's got to be expensive. It's got to be expensive.
No, they weren't. They were almost the same price.
If you can imagine buying 2 9-volt batteries every year for 10 years, this is a cost savings over the course, because you got to buy the initial
they weren't
alarm.
that much difference in price. I didn't think they were hard, because that's the direction the industry's going, and they're making these things by the tens of millions. Right. So it's they've driven the price down. But like I said, tell us about the program. You've talked to us before about the fire department actually coming and helping people that have a trouble, maybe some elderly or people that are have issues getting up on the ladder.
So we have the Department of Fire Rescue Services offers a smoke alarm program. So you're absolutely correct. It's an income-based program. So if you don't have the means to afford your own smoke alarm, we can provide those smoke alarms for you at no cost, absolutely free of charge.
Right.
Additionally, if you have the means to get your smoke alarms, but you just don't have the ability to climb the ladder to reach the ceiling and put the smoke alarm in, we'll come and do that for you. If you just don't know what the date of your smoke alarm is because you can't get to it, we will come and do that for you as well. This is a program to ensure the safety of the citizens of Warren County, the town of Front Royal. We are a phone call away.
Right. It's a good thing to do because, like you say, you check it. It's easy for the fire department to come do this compared to fighting a fire.
No, absolutely. So, if we talk about fire real quick and we look at the history of fire, we know that, 20, 30 years ago, we had approximately 11 minutes to escape a fire that was in the home. Our homes are now constructed in a different means. We use a lot of synthetic materials in the furnishings and items in the home. That 11 minutes had now been reduced down to approximately 3 minutes or less. So a fire in your home, you have to have the early warning and early detection of a smoke alarm. Without that device, and I get up on my soapbox, this is the single most important item that you can have in your home, and we provide it for free.
That's great. That's great. I have a lot of them. I put them all over the place, and the only time the battery chirps is 2 o'clock in the morning.
Well, I think last time we were here, we joked about that, and I was going to bring a TV remote control and say that ultimately
we need one.
If that TV remote control, if the batteries die in that TV remote control, we as a society, we panic.
Oh yeah.
We go into panic mode. We're rustling through the kitchen. We rustle through the kitchen drawers. We look for the batteries. Battery goes bad in the smoke alarm.
Pull it out.
We get angry.
Oh, I know.
We get angry, and because you're right. It happens at 2 o'clock in the morning, the most inopportune time.
Chirp. Oh, exactly.
So don't ever borrow the batteries out of the smoke alarm if you have a 9-volt battery smoke alarm. And never ever delay changing that battery. It has a chirp in it to warn you of that battery needing changed. Again, we never know. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, I'm going to have a fire this morning.
Right.
It happens at the most inopportune time. We just never know when a fire is going to strike in our home.
Exactly. Let's touch base on this here. This is an interesting thing. Carbon monoxide alarm. This is something that people really don't realize. And you talked about our way our houses are built now. They're much tighter.
That's right.
We're putting in ventless stoves, propane stoves or wood stoves, and other things that eat up our oxygen. And this is a little device it's about the price of a smoke detector, and this warns us about our carbon monoxide. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
So as we start to get, in common, we're in the heating season. It's getting colder. I think we have a freeze warning getting ready to come out, or it's already out for the weekend. Ultimately, as we see temperatures drop during the fall season, we start to revert over to heating our home. Well, what that change is if you have any type of fuel burning appliance, right? So that can be a wood stove, that can be a propane heater, that can be a natural gas appliance, that can be any type of fuel burning. So even, old fuel oil, any type of fuel burning appliance or heating appliance in your home, cooking appliance, you are susceptible to carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is a byproduct of that combustion process. So through the improper combustion or the improper ventilation of those appliances, we run the risk of carbon monoxide poisoning. Carbon monoxide is an odorless, tasteless, invisible gas.
Yes, it's a silent killer.
That's exactly right. So this is, again, one of those early warning, early detection devices in the event of carbon monoxide. We have a program just similar to our smoke alarm program. We have a program where we provide carbon monoxides free for the home. They are in limited supply. We get those through a grant-based program. But that's something as well. That's an income-based program that if you don't have the means to provide those for your home, we very well may be able to provide those for you as well.
And they run on batteries too, so you have to change the battery. And the one I had in my house, the battery, it didn't chirp. It just started going off, and it was the battery. And I'm looking all over the place. Where's it coming from? I'm checking the smoke detectors, and this plugs down on the lower, in a receptacle.
Yeah, so
And,
there's a lot of different types. So smoke alarm, we know that smoke alarms historically go on the ceiling.
Right.
There are certain positions for that smoke alarm. Carbon monoxide alarms are based off of the manufacturer and the way and the technologies in the alarm. Some go at thermostat level. You can even get a carbon monoxide alarm that's a combo unit with your smoke alarm, or they may be designed to plug into an outlet with a battery backup.
Right. So they work.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And like I said, even though you think you're not doing it, we have a couple propane, nice looking, turn them on when grandma's cold type, heaters. And it's amazing where if your house is so tight, all of a sudden you'll get sleepy and tired, and you're thinking, what is going on? Open the door.
That's right. So, certainly you don't want to depend on those types of senses. You want to have that technology in your home.
And they're low cost, and again, they can save your life. So
that's right.
It's great. So what else is happening at the fire department?
Well, we're ramping up for, certainly knock on wood, fire season, as we start to see our homes convert over to, heating the home, the winter months. We start to see decorations being used because, not only do we have the time change this weekend, we've got people ramping up for Halloween and, so we're starting to prepare for our per se busy season,
the overloaded extension cord.
That's right. We'll have
all the things we know, but everyone ignores.
But we still do it, right?
We still do it.
So, we've been relatively busy preparing. We're out stressing the importance of these programs and these devices. Anybody that needs a carbon monoxide alarm or smoke alarm can contact the Department of Fire and Rescue Services. You can do that by calling 540-636-3830 or visit our website at warrencountyfire.com. So we certainly looking forward to working with our community to ensure, the safety of our citizens and occupants in our community.
Well, everything I know, you guys are hard workers. I can remember I had 3 o'clock in the morning, and my neighbors caught their house on fire because they put the ashes of their wood stove in a plastic bucket and stuck it out on their porch.
Well, and that's, we'll have I brought some safety materials here in literature, and I think that's you're absolutely right. As we start to see our people heating a home, hopefully you'll have us back to, we can do another public safety series on heating the home and wood stove fireplace ashes. And, we have some great statistics as it relates to that and how to properly dispose of wood stove and fireplace ashes. I started seeing some estimates coming out over the last week on what kind of winter we're going to have. And, so we just never know. But it looks like it has the potential of being another bad winter this year. Right. So, we certainly want to get ahead of this and, be a preventionary measure, not a reactionary measure.
Well, you've had some serious fires here in the last couple of weeks, and I know that it can happen to anybody. You just never know when a fire is going to break out in your home because they
Well,
happen in all different ways.
We gotta be prepared, right? You gotta prepare ourselves. We need to have serious conversations about what to do if we have a fire. We need to practice fire escape drills in our homes. We need to have an emergency escape plan as part of that. We need to know the number of, if we have children in the home. Children historically learn fire safety as part of the classroom. We now know that with the COVID-19
Exactly.
situation, their exposure to the information which, we're able to provide is limited. Go to our website, warrencountyfire.com. We have safety materials available for, kids. So if you're doing virtual learning, if you're doing homeschooling, those types of things, we have the same information that we historically present in the classroom, just not able to be in the classroom with our children this year. So
Well, the children just love when the fire guys come in. Everybody either wants to be Batman or a fireman.
that's
One or the
right.
other.
That's right. And we use that as a reinforcement. If you see a fire truck talking to a group of kids, it's typically because we have done an educational session with the kids, and we are reinforcing that
Sure.
message with a visit from the firefighters and the fire truck and getting a look at our tools and equipment. So it just reinforces that safety message that we provided.
Right. I got a text the other day from Santa Claus, said that he's still going to work with the fire department this year. So hopefully he can meet that schedule.
Absolutely.
I notice he spends the time each Christmas Eve. How he manages to get all over Front Royal.
That's right. That's right.
easily.
Throwing out a lot of candy.
He throws
too.
out a lot of
Throwing
candy.
out a lot of candy. So that's a great event.
So when you hear the fire sirens on Christmas Eve, they might not be going to a fire. Although last year I think you had a breakaway and
It never fails that during the Operation Santa events, there's a fire truck going down the street, and they gotta, Santa's got to get off the top of the fire truck, get in the back of the fire truck, and there's an emergency they have to go to.
Well,
And that's the nature of the business that we're in.
Sure.
And we never. The most exciting part about our job is we never know what we're going to be doing in a moment's notice.
Exactly.
It's also a detriment to the job
Sure,
as well.
sure.
So when we respond to one of those significant fire incidents, it takes an impact on our firefighters. It takes an impact on our community, and we tell people that the best day as a firefighter, because what we train to do, what we enjoy doing, is that fire suppressionary measure. Our best day is typically somebody's worst day.
Exactly.
My job, and Chief expects it, that every fire we have in our community is a failure of the department. So we need to be a proactionary department, and that's what we're here today, just to make sure that this is a reactionary measure, so
Sure.
we want to make sure that you have the knowledge, skills, and abilities to prevent that fire in your home. But if it does occur, you have the life-saving device of a working smoke alarm in your home.
Well, Gerry, I appreciate you coming in and talking to us today and letting all of us know and reminding us of the time change and to change our batteries and to get our smoke detectors checked out, because it is a life-saving device. It's such a small thing we can do to really make a major impact on someone. Because again, you never know when you're going to need it. It's like a spare tire.
That's right. That's right.
But when you need it, you need it.
If you don't have it, if you don't think you have an
that's when you
adequate
need it.
smoke alarm, if you know somebody that you don't think has it, give us a call. We will have that conversation with you. We'll let you know what you can do to participate in this free program
Sure.
that we offer. We'd love to meet you under these circumstances,
Exactly.
providing you a free smoke alarm versus under the circumstances of a disastrous fire in your home.
All right. Again, Gerry, thanks so much for coming
As
in. And you
always.
guys are welcome to come anytime.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Mike.